Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. It's GLR Cordell here, back with another daily C race on Gran Turismo 7. Fantastic race once again. This lobby was full of known drivers, A plus drivers, and was really good. And also what was really cool is I had a good few close friends of mine in here. So back in P10 is a good friend of mine, GLR Mikey, another Guinness Lounge Racing race member. So it was quite cool to have him in the same lobby as me. And also a good friend of mine in P1, Golden Botto, and he is a genuine, very fast driver. As you can see, I think his qualifying time was a 2:17.6, something along them lines. So very fast. So this race here. Um, Again, it was a competitive race, a very good race. And what I'm going to be doing as well is give a like a lap guide for those who may want to know. I know this is a Sunday when I'm recording it, so it's the last day of this race. But I'll give a lap guide for those who may struggle with Spa, and if this race may come again in the future. So yeah, so going to be getting the action very shortly. Um, and yeah, it's a great race in general, really. And before I do, actually, I just want to give a big shout out to Enra. Enraville is a GLR racer. He's in the Discord, and he is a maestro when it comes to livery. So this livery here was obviously done by him. Isn't just for GLR liveries. He does liveries for numerous races in Gran Turismo 7. So I just want to give a big shout out to him because this livery for me is really nice, and he continues to do fantastic work. So big shout out to you, Emra. But back to the race. So starting here in P4. Again, Lewis and fast drivers in here. The guy in front of me, Jay Bay, I have come across him a few times. I think I've recently saw him do a video on Kirif's YouTube channel, so I knew he was quite a fast driver. But you will see the difference again, me personally, in the Mazda versus the Peugeot RCZ. So for the first sort of couple of laps, just wanted to keep it clean. Don't do any silly mistakes. Don't keep within any slipstream. Try and save some fuel. And again, for those who don't know, I've always found the best strategy for Spa in terms of fuel saving the Mazda was on the straights. People are a little bit different, but what I do is on the straights, I go in engine mode 2. And when I come out the straights, as I've just done there, I then flick it to engine mode 3 through the majority of the lap until I get on to the back straight. Then I go back on fuel mode 2. And the reason why I do that, because then on the last lap, which you'll see at the end of this race, I will then flick it to engine mode 1. So I'll basically surprise the front runners or someone's trying to tap me, so I can get that extra maybe half a second in my lap, and it really helps. So little pointer for you for next time for those who may want to fuel save in this race again in the future. But yeah, back to this. Just going to run it through for the first lap. As you can see, running a few clean lines, quite consistent at the moment, which I'm really happy about. It's concentrate on braking zones, get into the slip. Again, be careful of the dirtier, so don't give too much of a push, but I will obviously explain the lap guide later on in this race. And you will see coming up an incident, I do believe. Yes, so unfortunately there with the fin there. So I'll rewind it back to see exactly what happened there to the fin. So you see, just pushed it a bit too much in that corner. It's very important not to do too much speed for this corner. Just ease it through. You see, he's gone a bit too much here. He's gone to the slippery green stuff. Rather than, sort of easing back off the throttle, he's tried to full throttle it, and the spar is come out. So really unfortunate for him there. Really unfortunate. So I'm now gone into P3 due to that mistake. Got a smash boy behind me here who's in my slip, but he's in the RCZ. So he either wasn't going to fuel save. If he wasn't going to fuel save, I knew he'd try and go for the overtake. If he doesn't go for the overtake, then I'm sweet. I won't be worried about him. So going to J Bay here. Just concentrate on breaking points again. Don't want to ruin some race by overshooting it and hitting him. So I kept it clean, kept behind him. So now in my mind I'm thinking, right, now I know I've got the faster car here, so I go on his slip. I won't overtake him here. I'll probably wait for the straight. But he's gone really defensive here. So I'm braking now, and I can think he's just about braking. So I knew he's probably going to overshoot it. So I'll brake early, turn in early, and go for the nice little turn in there on him. So there we go, happy days. back in P2, but of course the risk is now him taking me. So I'll just go on a different screenshot here, which is quite cool. I do like the live replays here. This is really brilliant. So Jay's behind me here. He's probably maybe trying to go for the overtake, but if he was, let him do it. You know, it's really not an issue for me. So I just thought, you know, just keep it there. Not a problem. Get the braking zone. There you go. I don't see any issue there at all. So I know, right, concentrate on P2 now and try and push forward. So there we go. Happy with that. Jay behind me here. Get some clean. Now I've got some clean air. So again, for me, some people are different. You know, probably the majority of people are the same as me. I prefer not having anybody in front of me because I can now fully concentrate on braking lines. I don't have to worry about dirty air. And sometimes you can make mistakes because if you follow somebody's line and they're going wide, you're probably not really noticing it. So you can follow the line and also make a mistake. So now I've got clean air. Now it's time for me to fully not push too much. I've still got fuel safe, but concentrate on braking lines, concentrate on the apexes, and it should be fine. I think, as you can see, already building a gap there on J-Bay. So this corner here, brake early, cut in, get the apex, and accelerate out. Be careful here, probably turn in early in this corner, and there you go, happy days. So what I see golden bottom is probably maybe about 2 to 3 seconds in front of me here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fast forward it very quickly onto lap number 5, probably, just to give, I think it's a nice little lap there to give you guys a lap guide here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flick into my normal camera mode. This is what I use for the race, and I'll give you a quick lap guide of Monza in the Mazda. And again, bear in mind, this isn't going to be a hugely fast lap because I'm fuel saving, but I think in terms of the braking lines, it's exactly the same. So coming up now, just past the 100-meter board, you're going to be braking the second gear, turning early at this point because it's a little bit understeer in this car, cut the apex and accelerate out. Then go through, come to Eau Rouge, which will come in any minute now. Turn a little bit early, you want to cut that corner. As soon as you get to about here, start turning in now. Not too aggressively because it's not too bad here. Hit the curb. Watch how you don't get any penalty points there, which I don't. So far so good. Coming up to the straight. Now when I get to about maybe this point, I'm flicking to engine mode 3. You want to brake around about here, maybe about there. So I start braking now. Going to third gear, cut in early, hit the apex, flick into fourth gear straight away and accelerate out. Easing the throttle. And you don't full throttle it, you can probably full throttle it round about now, but again, be careful of those sausages there. So I could have cut this a little bit more, but again, not too bad so far. Flick into fifth gear, start braking point there, brake, into second gear, turn in, then flick to around about third gear, which you'll see me do in a minute. Start flicking third gear and then mash it on the throttle. Start braking around about here, turn in early, go into fourth gear eventually, cut the apex and start accelerating out. Accelerate through, go into fifth gear. You're going to look for, you see the 50-meter board, just past the 50-meter board, you see that little black sign right there on the right hand side. You want to brake in between your 50 and that board there. So you start braking around about here, turn in early, go into fifth gear around about here and then start accelerating through. Completely full throttle here. Again, still in engine mode 3. Start braking roughly round about here, turn in early into third gear so the car can turn in, then go into fourth gear and then start accelerating out. Try and hit the apex as best you can, which is not too bad. Still in fourth gear, accelerate out. You want to brake early here, roughly round about here, go into third gear, stay in third gear, ease in the throttle, start going to throttle knob, into fourth gear, and start turning in roughly around about here because you need to turn in early in this corner. If you turn a little bit too late, you will go wide. And then go into fifth gear to easy, because if you cut that curb, which some people will do, and you start accelerating hard in fourth gear, your car will spin out. So fifth gear and now accelerate out. So these little two corners here, perfectly fine or flat out. and you can go flat out on this next left turn in here. I tend to use half on the green stuff, half on the racetrack here, and when it gets to about here, start turning in, full throttle in 5th gear, go in 6th gear actually, keep going all the way through, start braking just after the 150 ball, maybe a little bit later, start turning in, go in 1st gear, cut that curve there, stay in 1st gear, some do 2nd, and then accelerate out. And I think that lap time was roughly around about 2:22.2, something along them lines. So that's lap guide here. So now back into this mode here. So Golden Bottom, so I'm closing in on him. I know he's doing some good times. In terms of P3, again, they're out of the race, so there's mistakes I'm making by myself or Botto. So now I've just got to concentrate fully now of doing the consistent laps. Botto, again, is a fast driver. I know him very well. The only way for me to win this race is being consistent, being fast, and maybe Botto making a mistake. So I'll just play again through the lap race here. Again, to see how it goes. I'll stick it on this mode here. So again, Spa, for me personally, I do love the track. I think it's a really good track. Some people did think this race was a little bit boring, but I think it's boring, you know, if you're racing against people in the lobbies who ain't so fast, you know. But if you're racing against guys, again, let's say like Bottas, for example, will make the race interesting because you're both on the same strategies, you're both doing quick lap times, and it's about not making mistakes. That for me made it really, really interesting. You know, when you race against the so-called aliens, I think it can be a really good race. If you're against guys, I guess I do prefer, of course, if it was a stop race where you didn't have to worry about fuel, yes, it would have been better. But I thought it brings something a little bit different in Gran Turismo 7, which I quite enjoyed. So I'm interested to see what the next daily races are later on today or first thing on Monday morning. So let's go on to this mode here. So yeah, Bottas, you can see, has gained a little bit of time with me. He probably knows that I'm coming in fast. So again, I'm just concentrating on my times, concentrating on my braking points, and again, just seeing what the best I can do for this. And again, just wanted to say as well, just slightly off of this race, I do appreciate every single viewer that I have received so far. Trying to grow the channel GLR Esports. We do have a Discord, so feel free to check the link in the description to join our Discord. Everyone is welcome. Of course, it's our YouTube channel, so feel free to like, subscribe, and if you want to see any different content or any questions at all, feel free to put a comment down below, and I will definitely answer to anything you do want to speak to me about. But again, thank you very much for everyone who has supported the channel so far. So coming on to the penultimate lap now. As you can see, the distance is pretty much the same. So me and Botto, you know, particularly in this race, are very similar drivers in terms of lap times. As you can see there, I'm doing consistent, you know, 22 sort of 0, 22 1 lap times, but I'm still saving my fuel, which again, which for me, you know, makes the race really interesting. So Botto could be pushing hard here. I don't know, you know. I'm still sticking to my strategy of going mode 2 here. And if we set the 2 mode 3, so then on the last lap down these straights I'll go into fuel mode 1. So what I will do, I'm just going to flick through just to, as you can see, nothing really happens here apart from just good consistent lap times once more. I'm in the purple laps here, so again the fuel mode's low, but again the lap times are pretty decent, so I'm putting in some good times. Nothing really happens. Again, another purple here. And I would stick it to, let's say, stick to here. So coming to the final lap now. So the gap is approximately maybe about a second or 1.2. Now it's attack mode. So let's see what happens at the end of this race. So now flipped into 1. I'm on the attack now. Let's see what happens. So again, making sure just breaking off the 100-meter board. Second gear. And now you see the difference in me going fuel my run. So the gap again is about a second, alright? So now I'm revving out a bit more. Engine mode 1. I've probably already gained nearly about 10 miles per hour just going in fuel mode 1 there. Make sure they get a good line. Now I can start pushing. As you can slightly see, the gap is ever so slightly closing. So again, Botto could be the same. I haven't spoken to Botto after the race. I don't know what his strategy is. But yeah, as you can see, look, almost 6 tenths up on that lap time. This shows you the big difference in going to fuel and what on the last lap. And I haven't really got to worry too much. So already gained 6 tenths on the previous fastest lap, which currently was a 21.6. So now I'm sticking into, normally on those laps I go in gear 4, but now I'm going gear 3 just to get a bit more acceleration at the corner. So get gear 2 here, stay in 2, going 3 and attack it a bit more. This corner here, instead of going 4, I think I stick in 3, just get a bit more acceleration, which I do. Look at the gap, so the gap is closing ever so slightly, but again it's all about that back straight, so I have to keep it very, very clean here. As you can see, look, Bottas just makes a mistake. Maybe the pressure's got to him a little bit. So now I'm thinking, right, come on, let's go now. You know, he's feeling a little bit of pressure. But again, knowing Bottas, he's a very good driver. So I know he'll probably keep it together. I don't know, I'm sort of smelling blood, really. So I like pushed just a little bit too much, but kept it together. Keeping it here. Hit the apex right. This is really important, these last few corners for the back straight. I can go just a little bit more. So 0.2 up on the best lap. Now I'm on his slip. Now I'm really, as you can see, really revving it out. Really revving it out and trying my best to see what I can do. But it just seems a little bit too late unless Bottas makes an error here in the last corner. Go in hard. Brake on the 150 boards. Getting that first gear. He could make a still mistake here. Nah, he gets it. It's absolute fair play to him. Fair play to him. And does a little celebration there. But as you can see, look at the last lap time. So I've done a 2:21.1, which shows the big difference you can make on the last lap if you keep it clean and just save your fuel at the end. So I probably gained, you know, in that lap maybe a second, you know, just on Bottas. So really good race. Very enjoyable race. I loved it. I know Bottas did too. And you know, J-Bay, fair play to him. And let's just quickly see with Mikey. I think Mikey, he finished in P9 at the end. I think he did, maybe in P8, but absolutely fair play to him. But once again, guys, if you do like the content, you know, feel free to like and subscribe. You know, more content will be coming on Gran Turismo in the very near future. But until the next video, bye for now.